That was new music, I'm pretty sure. At least to me. Bottom right-hand side of the map for Alpha X. He's nice! Nice. All right, low ground expanded looks like, Ravi, to start.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something that I think is pretty common for a lot of pros players to are worried about those Hellion openings and everything. So I guess not like the craziest weirdness coming out of Nice just yet, but let's see where things go. Again, like I do think that most people would look at this group, and again, it's not a slight of HeRoMaRinE because HeRoMaRine's an absolute legend. You know, he's Big Gabe. He's literally gotten us to rename the weeklies the Big Gabe Weeklies. But you look at the two Terran players in this group and you kind of think, okay, if I have to beat one of them, who should I probably focus my attention on and save whatever builds or shenanigans for? You're probably going to look at it and be like, well, probably HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you take a game against TY, you can pull off something crazy or something like that. Maybe he feels more comfortable in PvP, so that's definitely a strategy. I've never seen like players plan not to win against another player. It's very it's very difficult to have that mindset, but I think it would be a legit strategy to kind of aim for this matchup, even though it wasn't really necessary that it would happen. It was kind of very likely to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Cats, it's not usually you put the cyber core as a part of the wall, I feel like. So I don't think it's the biggest of deals, but if there is like the really fast Hellion opening or something coming out from HeRoMaRinE, that having the cyber core so far back and having to use like 2 extra buildings to create a wall for Hellions, it is somewhat noteworthy. We'll see if there is even going to be one of those Hellion openings from HeRoMaRinE to abuse it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wonder what upsides come from this. Obviously, it's going to be less exposed in his wall of should there be an early push or something like that. So maybe he's accounting more for that than for Hellions. But I completely agree with you. I mean, we saw Stats wall off earlier or attempt at it, and it's definitely one way to shut down Hellion harass plus say something like Liberators or Banshees in the back where you want to focus your units and your energy somewhere else, right? So definitely an option that he doesn't have, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, to look on the optimistic side of it is we do actually have at least one Hellion coming on out, and these Adepts continue to just deny some mining over here at the natural, doing the usual kind of poking and prodding. But I do think it is worth mentioning that when you go for the wall in, like you were saying, you're both going to have buildings that are more vulnerable, but you also are creating a choke point if you end up having to, like, for example, defend your third and your natural, and the push comes in, situate yourself, and your army is like in your natural because you're defending a drop in the main or something, you are choking yourself up. So like, unless you're dealing with the Hellions, you actually don't usually want those kind of choke points. So he might be thinking a little bit more forward about that. And we actually only see that one Hellion. It's these Adepts continuing to poke forward. The Widow Mine's coming out behind this. Yeah, 3 SCVs for 1 Adept, maybe 4 SCVs actually. That's not too bad. So a very nice poke there. The Reaper's gonna make his way into the main. Oh my god, I didn't even mean the pun, Ravi. That's okay, because, you know, clearly we have on the overlay Neeb playing. No, just it is nice, guys. The overlay will be corrected shortly, I think. Or at some point. Yeah. Nice. It's just for those who are wondering, we actually have a beautiful mod that replaces player names in case they're not playing by their actual names. The mine. Oh no! Beautiful bait by Big Gabe there. That is huge, Ravi. And this Hellion and the Reaper, they are doing all right. 2 probes have come down, more scouting information. I mean, the stalkers are made available, but more than that, I mean, just losing the War Prism this early on, it really hurts Nice and his chances to stay out on the map right now. Yeah, that is really going to be tough. Well, it gets the Reaper at least. I thought it was maybe going to escape out of there again, but that is at least a tiny victory here. But now, how do you keep HeRoMaRinE from, like you said, pushing and put on some pressure? Because he doesn't have to worry about any of the War Prism harass. And it's not just that there was like a potential there could have been War Prism harass or something else. He knew it was going to be War Prism harass, and now he doesn't have to worry about it. Yeah, that is huge. Oh, and this Observer just sieged in range of HeRoMaRinE. He hasn't noticed, however. There is a few SCVs being pulled. Not enough to soak up a lot of damage, so it looks like maybe they want to make bunkers or something of the sort. There is also tanks
being made. There are some low ground positions perhaps here that can be taken. This choke is definitely scary. Those are the type of chokes that you were referring to earlier, only this is organic to the map, right? Where the units start trickling in. I think that was a very good point to make. And Nice has done a good job of kiting, but obviously he was a little bit far behind going into this. Will he be able to hold? The Immortal is going to help a great deal.
Yeah, Liberator is going to get focus fire down over here, but like you said, the Immortal going down is going to be brutal. SCVs repairing the Viking and can even repair up that HeRoMaRinE if they find the opportunity to. This is a very, very scary pushing over here for HeRoMaRinE. But honestly, this isn't even necessarily that committed. Like, yes, there are some SCVs pulled, but HeRoMaRinE, he's added on a third CC behind this. He's looking for damage, but he's adding on 3 CC versus a Protoss that doesn't have a third Nexus.
Yeah, that was so sad because the Immortal actually, there was an attempt at microing it back just in time, but the Stalkers were blocking it. And now it's going to be so very difficult. I mean, with that Immortal here, I think that Nice would be able to hold. If he could have just pulled back to that battery, regened its shields, maybe in this next attempt, the Immortal could be focusing the tank or even the Vikings. And instead, it's very little to work with here for Nice. But a second Immortal will pop out and get onto that tank. The Vikings will get dealt with. And Nice cleans up, but this was, this was a long stay for the push. It did well.
It absolutely did. And now Nice is going to have a Templar Archives and only 4 gateways. I mean, he's 4 gateways on 2 bases. He does have, again, expensive power units he can be making right now. Those Archons as well as like those Immortals. He's pushing across the map. HeRoMaRinE, I love this barracks wall in. Oh my god, this is actually such a great reaction over here because, your opponent invested into charge. It didn't invest into blink or anything else. It's basically going to be the power unit of charge lots and Archons. How do you protect your tanks? Well, you create a wall. You build a wall.
He definitely built that wall. And I mean, HeRoMaRinE is a master of defense, right? When you are a macro player, you have to survive everything. And he is very, very good at just that. The bunker will not get salvaged, actually. Just healed up. The Marines unload. And there's a huge Liberator here right in the middle of that mineral line. Stalkers get warped in to try to absorb shots. But HeRoMaRinE, with very good focus firing, is going to take 6 probes.
6 probes, and he knows that the army recalls, so he knows he actually has a little bit more space to, move his units around. He doesn't have to worry immediately about, a big attack coming in like seconds away. So he even gets a scan out, kills off an observer, goes to the salvage, builds a few more depots for that proper walling in. Like, HeRoMaRinE is going to be feeling so comfortable right now.
Yeah, and there's chokes on either sides of those 2 barracks, so that's pretty cool from him. The tank positioning, they switch sides, but they're still very well protected, very difficult to get to. So yeah, very well planned from HeRoMaRinE here. I love how he continues to make these little walls as he moves on forward, exactly for the reasons that you've been mentioning. There is going to be charge lots available. And yeah, this is going to be a huge attack from Nice coming up soon, potentially. It is a wide open space at the 3rd, but we saw Stats actually opting for the high ground before, and that worked out well for him because it was kind of undefended, right? So yeah, that could work out too.
I actually agree with the idea of Nice doing this big attack because I do feel like, you have no forges going for upgrades. You're not getting Storm. You don't have a transition point right now. You have to go. You have to do something.
The tanks. They're unsieged.
Oh, okay, that's actually going to be a little bit scary. The siege tanks do manage to siege up just in the nick of time. There's not that much bio protecting the siege tanks, so the Chargers are going to be able to get on top of them pretty quickly over here. Archon also doing quite a bit of splash damage to that bio force on the bottom of the ramp, but is there just going to be a little bit too much here for HeRoMaRinE, or is there a little too much over here for Nice? He's actually starting to break on through.
It looks very, very good for Nice right now. In spite of some of those Immortals not really connecting with the units that they wanted to connect, HeRoMaRinE doesn't seem to have enough in location. I mean, those tanks could have been sieged a little bit earlier, but like you said, just barely they get a pretty decent shot off, and HeRoMaRinE is struggling to hold this 20 supply behind, and it doesn't look like he has an answer.
It's looking really, really dire right now. HeRoMaRiNE's got the connections that they absolutely needed. But even with all of that said and done, a lot of SCVs have gone down, and he still hasn't cleaned this up. There's actually still enough Archons here as well. And remember, Nice didn't have a transition point, but he does have a 3rd base, and that 3rd base is going to have enough mining. He can continue to flood out more Zealots over here.
This is it. Yeah, this is just going to be too much. The SCVs are not going to want to fight against that many Archons. And with this, I think Nice clearing that many SCVs, even if he doesn't close the game here, it's all said and done. HeRoMaRinE will realize it and have to tap out. Okay, so what can he do? Like, I guess it's just for the Reaper, just to get a response for the Reaper early on with the Adept or Stalker?
Yeah, usually when I see it, it's because you want to immediately send that Adept out across the map. You want to try and dive in, slow down the command center or something. But like you said, the Reaper is going to actually pop in at the absolute perfect time. And you rely on the shield battery, keep these probes alive. Shield battery finishes up just in the nick of time, save those probes, and the second Adept should be able to push back the Reaper.
All right, so this Adept's job is to delay this command center. We'll see if he's able to do it. There's been somewhat of a commitment here and a choice for Nice to do this in favor of, you know, developing his economy further or anything like that. And he cost them a shield battery as well, Ravi. So not finding anything, not ideal, not the end of the world either.
I'm surprised he didn't let that shade finish, though. There was only the 2 SCVs over there, so I don't think he would have delayed the command center that much, but I think he could have at least damaged or potentially killed one of the SCVs. So interestingly, he's just playing so defensive with this first Adept against literally a Marine.
Yeah. Oh, this probe will get taken down as well. Very well job. A very well job by HeRoMaRinE, Ravi.
A very well job indeed, Cats. It is going to be a Stargate follow-up over here. We actually saw the Stargate act pretty strongly, I would say, in his earlier series versus TUI. I think he actually was able to get surprising amount done with that. So I'm interested to see where this game is going to go. He's going to add on that Robo pretty quickly behind us because I'm imagining he is thinking about the pretty typical thing. Get out the Phoenix, go into the Colossus pretty quickly behind it.
All right, we'll see if that is what Nice has in store for us. On the side of HeRoMaRinE, he looks to be going for something like a small Marine with Widowmine drop. We've seen this work before, but not really taking up otherwise, right? Like there's not really a sudden follow-up push. Do you think he takes a third behind this then? Oh, more production actually. Yeah.
Looks like he's deciding that himself. Was about to build some additional production there, decided to cancel and hold off for a little bit. So maybe he is thinking about just taking that third.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the production go down, but it looks like, oh yeah, it's going to be a third instead. And now the Phoenixes will poke. I think I like that a little bit better, right? Because adding more production right now is not really going to give him a very strong timing, whereas defensively he can make a tank and he can just kind of sit back for a little bit. But this medevac drop, it's really low tech. He's not advancing to stim or to anything that's going to give him a strong follow-up.
Yeah. Well, we do have Nice also thinking about that third Nexus as well, but there's the Robo-Bag. Ooh! Widowmine actually gets a kill on one of those Phoenix. That's not ideal. For those who don't know, Widowmines don't actually one-shot Phoenix, but if you take a bit of damage on those Phoenix, then it will actually be able to secure that kill. So usually you want to absorb the Widowmine with one of your your full health Phoenix. Bit unfortunate there.
Yes, indeed. All right, the Viking's gonna get found, but nothing will go down as there's Marines on the low ground to protect him or her, and an observer gets sieged up again, and it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure who's driving that Viking, Ravi.
If I recall, Vikings are, I think the model and like the voice for the Vikings are a guy. The Banshees are a girl.
Yeah, Banshees are definitely all female pilots. Vikings, I guess that would, actually a Viking could be either, right? Really. Banshee is usually more associated with female. I don't know if a male Banshee actually in any sort of mythology or anything like that.
Very backward society for something that's supposed to be so far in the future. If you think about it.
I guess so, right? Yeah. All right, these Phoenixes are trying to find something here, and they're going to find the SUV building a turret. The mine goes off and will finish off one Phoenix, so not too bad for HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, I'd say HeRoMaRine's probably going to be pretty happy with the fact he's only lost one SCV, like a handful of Marines here this game. He's already managed to kill off 2 of the Phoenix. And remember, the Phoenix count isn't something you really want to have to focus on replacing. If you lose one more Phoenix over here, I actually feel like the power of the Phoenix is all but almost entirely negated. Like they have a little bit of value after that, but 3 is like the absolute minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to kill stuff too slow, and HeRoMaRiNE's going to have too much time to react if it's just the 2 of them. So I completely agree with you. A lot of production going down on the side of Nice, as our wonderful observer Mapu shows us.
Yeah, he's getting his big gateway flood up and everything. The Colossus are already being added on. He's got one out and adding on the second one. My question is if he's just going to use that Temple Archives and immediately start morphing in some Archons, gonna forego Storm and try and put some pressure on with, you know, the Charge Lot Colossus army. Maybe just poke around at the third base or something. Or if he is gonna try and do almost something more similar to what Stats was doing and say, no, let's take a fourth base. Let's get up a nice, solid, well-rounded composition and think about later stages.
Yeah, this is, again, such a nice observer for Nice. It's so very powerful. It's right in the middle of those three bases. He's going to see all the transit from the main natural and third. He's going to see the army move out. He's going to see the positioning. And that's kind of how Stats was managing to get advantages against Big Gabe. Is Big Gabe not really being able to find those observers, and Stats capitalizing wherever Big Gabe was not. So I hope for his sake that he's able to find that or negate it in any case, in any way.
Yeah, definitely would be to his benefit. Phoenix are going to continue to shark around. And I just want to know, like, again, it's not even necessarily, oh, Phoenix getting a lot of damage done because, oh, God, we're going down to the 2 Phoenix now. So definitely not going to find a whole lot of damage now. But it is just keeping an eye out on things. You're constantly darting in around your opponent's army so you can verify, all right, they're not moving out. I see that you're not making any crazy tech swaps or anything. You can see like, oh, there's like a ghost or two that popped out. I see that you're on that tech now. Like, I have to be wary about this. And maybe it would hint him to say, like, I won't go into Storm, I'll go into Disruptors or something. So it's, those Phoenix still find value just for information gathering. But as I say all of that, we actually see that the Phoenix both pulled back now. They're with the army, and they aren't going to see the big move out here. It's the Observer that does see the Unsiege, and the potential move out there from here. We just start backing off.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Nice did add a lot of production, so I think he's gonna be well set up for this. Though he did also take a fourth, and that is a very annoying position to defend, given that there's tanks available for HeRoMaRinE. And I also want to point out something pretty cool. HeRoMaRinE is one of the best Terrans in the world, and this is the first time we see him move out at all, I think, this game, right? He really hasn't applied any pressure, and it really goes to show the power of just good, straight up, powerful macro into a very strong timing. And let's see what it can do. The Colossus already getting on top of the tanks, though. EMPs were good, and the Vikings are gonna reign supreme on the air, Ravi. It looks like HeRoMaRinE might be pushing through here.
Yeah, I mean, finally, I think the last Colossus barely gets picked up over there in the last second from the Warp Prism. Warp Prism is taking a lot of damage as well. I do think that Nice is pulling off a surprisingly close defense, but surprisingly close isn't exactly what he wanted. I think he wanted a, like, rousing defense over there against that push from HeRoMaRinE, because HeRoMaRinE was going for a big push out here, and I think the only thing is really lacking is 2-2 starting up because his army finished, but there he is. Starting up 2-2, and Nice has basically had all of his tech reset in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is very, very good news for HeRoMaRinE. That was a good trade for him, as he is going to now take his fourth. Though Nice not really staying too far behind, he's going to take his fifth and try to equalize things on the economic ground. So it's still very much a game, but I like it for Big Gabe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that Nice is still in an absolutely, like, recoverable position, but, like, it's a mild disadvantage after those fights, just losing all of your Colossus and a lot of your Archons, losing, I think he lost the Warp Prism as well to the Vikings eventually. So even, like, doing a counterattack is a little bit harder to pull off because those double Immortals that were produced behind that, it wasn't another Warp Prism. So even, okay, there's the next Warp Prism, has that. So is he actually going to commit over here? Oh, he might hit the top side. Although Warp Prism does a big Zealot run by over the third.
Yeah, or even at the main. There's not really any turrets at the main, and there is the airspace here. Oh, and it's barely gonna avoid the vision of that sensor tower as well. So this is pretty good news for Nice, but don't want to siege onto a turret. All right, this is pretty good. There's the Celos that you were talking about, Ravi, and now the army of Big Gabe is gonna have some decisions to make, though he seems aware of the potential to get his fourth snipe. This was masterfully defended so far by Gabriel.
Yeah, and he's just poking and prodding with that main army, saying, okay, I'm not going to make this easy for you. I know it requires attention to actually deal with that army and the run by. So he tries to poke forward, but looks like Nice gets caught a bit off guard. Sacrifices in a lot of the Zealots and even sacrifices in an Archon over there as he turns and runs, but another stem comes out. Big Gabe is on the hunt for as many free units as he can find in exchange for the damage he took in the main base.
Yeah, also the medevac count is now very high, whereas before struggling a little bit with just the 2 medevacs in favor of making that many Vikings. This is, yeah, that is a huge number of zealots, and they're all gonna charge, but into a choke. I don't know if I like that from Nice, and he reconsiders. Very well done by Big Gabe, holding those chokes and knowing where to step.
2-2 finishing up as our wonderful observer just showed us, and Nice is still a bit of a ways away from +2 weapons and a good bit away from +2 armor, which would help out so much for these Zealots be able to survive these attacks. Nice. I feel like if you're gonna go with this many Zealots, I would love if you'd come in from both sides, but the Zealots charge on forward. A lot of EMPs going out. Vikings annihilating these Colossus in the air, and it seems like Colossus not really getting a lot of damage done. There's just not that much AoE, and with inferior upgrades, HeRoMaRinE is gonna storm on through and says, Nice, got lucky in game 1. Not a player from Team Alpha X Esports, he is Nice.
And in the bottom left-hand side, it is the red Terran player playing for Mouse, HeRoMaRinE.
Oh, sorry. Are we gonna get DMCA'd now? I started humming a song that's copyrighted. Oh no.
That's okay. I think it doesn't count if you sing it or if you make your own version of it.
Fun fact is that the same software that's been hitting a lot of streamers on Twitch for that, they haven't it's not in. You're right. Humming it is not enacting any of the DMCA stuff because they haven't, started using this. But the same company that's doing all the detection for people who are playing copyrighted music on streams has another product that detects if someone is humming a song.
No way.
I'm not.
Oh, that is just evil.
Yeah. I'm not going to use this as a platform to shout out the company, so you guys can find it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's fairly evil to me. I think that's let us hum. Like what is next? Whistles? Can't whistle? Can't sing? Yeah. I guess if you can't hum, you probably can't sing either, right?
I will copyright the C note. Any song with a C note. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
Cats, it's a fascinating discussion to have, but we'll have it another time because I do think that this is going to be a really, really cool game just because it's not nice just getting, as some people would say, dumpstered on by HeRoMaRinE or anything. Nice has been able to show some really, really top-notch PvT today, and he's been able to show that he's absolutely competitive. HeRoMaRinE, though, in that last game that you were pointing this out, has been able to showcase how strong he is when he just gets to play a sat-back macro-style game, defend, get up the big army, and go across the map and really put on the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Defend, gather some information, look at what your opponent's doing, and that is his comfort zone, and Nice did not look great against it. But at the same time, HeRoMaRinE has had so much time to kind of study Nice and see that oftentimes it's him that's making so many zealots that's slow to transition to those higher tier units. So I really didn't mind, especially with the Phoenix being out, that HeRoMaRinE was taking that approach. I thought it was the very mature approach. And I think that Nice needs to abuse the fact that HeRoMaRinE is willing to do something like that and maybe be a little bit greedier.
Yeah. Well, Adept is going to just be shading around for some extra information, whatever it could find. He's going to also see these 5 Marines at the front. Ooh, almost a slow reaction there from Nice. Takes a bit of damage from the Adept on the Adept. Oh no, it takes, Cats, okay, I gotta tell you exactly what that was. That was one of those moments where you think that your Adept is being path one way, and then suddenly you give it another move command somewhere, and it just goes in a path that you just did not anticipate, and it just runs straight back into the Marine fire. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was right before the Adept was saved. I mean, it was already safe, right? He just didn't. He just had to not run into it. Now a very good Hellion Scout is gonna see everything that Nice is doing, so that is very nice for HeRoMaRinE. He's not gonna find any damage, obviously, but that was never what he was looking to do with this Hellion. And now Stalkers being warped in should clue in HeRoMaRinE into the potential for Blink.
Exactly, and I'd say the big thing that he scouted there was that it wasn't just 2-gate Blink or something. This is going to be 4-gate Blink. So it's not I'm not gonna call 4-gate Blink an all-in. It's far from an all-in. But it is something you're gonna have a lot more Stalkers early on. and you're not necessarily going to have your transition as quickly. Like, it's not going to be like a fast Colossus play or something immediately right behind it. It's not like a Robo Bay being added on right now. You really do want to warp in a bunch of Stalkers and put pressure on. And HeRoMaRinE, yeah, I love this. Like, he knows this is what Nice is really going to try and commit to. He's building a bunker in his main base already at the location the Stalkers could blink up from the low ground.
Yeah, the tank also in neutral position where it's going to be very difficult to blink in and snipe it with one shot. And that's all you need to do with that. It's kind of shielding both the main and the natural. So yeah, like,
that was so sick.
Well, yeah, I mean, good heads up play there from Nice, but obviously HeRoMaRinE could have microed the Hellion as well and it would have been fine.
Can you stop taking away from the victory of that probe? Yeah, like, worked hard for that kill. All right,
that is true. Yeah, it's a great heads up play, right? Like, you gotta give it to Nice, really.
Yeah.
But feels bad if you're HeRoMaRinE. At the same time, he is very well defended, and this is what really counts here. I would love to see him drop a third CC as soon as he realizes he's completely safe. Because I like what Nice is doing too. Yeah, he committed to 4 gateways, but he hasn't really warped in much at all. He only has the first warping of Stalkers, and he's taking his third.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head there, Cats. He identified, like, okay, you know, the Hellion made its way in. HeRoMaRinE's going to be really prepared for this. Even had this observer over here kind of spot things out and see like how prepared HeRoMaRinE is going to be. So just saying immediately, like, yeah, I actually don't need to warp in any more Stalkers right now. Just maybe have to be a bit prepared for something like this where there's a drop heading across the map. But he immediately, after seeing all that, had thrown down his Robo Base. So now he is actually able to make a pretty quick tech up into the Colossus. I was saying he wasn't going to be doing this, but relative to the fact that HeRoMaRinE was respecting the Blink Stalker play as much, it still ends up being like a pretty quick Colossus.
Yeah, most definitely. And with these sentries also on locations, as far as he's paying attention, I think that Nice should have no trouble deflecting this group of Marines here. They're gonna stim early, even on the side of Big Gabe, but now sees the lasers attacking the rocks, and that's gonna be enough. Yeah, good force field.
Marines. Yeah, very solid. Just like a single force field there is not going to take away too much energy from, you know, Listening Phoenix and all that other stuff. And well, it looks like Big Gabe is finally feeling confident in saying, okay, well, you just have a Colossus. You can't have that many Stalkers. You see, it's just the 5 Stalkers over here, which are going to stim away. Are they actually going to be able to get away over here? There's no concussive shells.
Yeah, they'll be able to get away, I think, but yeah, this is kind of a difficult call for HeRoMaRinE, right? Because he realizes now, okay, my opponent is safe. He already has a third situated, and now he has to make the call. Do I cross the map? I've been making units for so long. My third is a little bit late comparatively. He's even gonna just float it over, actually. So maybe just repositioning to take the third. Maybe he's just comfortable playing from this position like he was against Stats, and we see a very similar tank layout as he did in the game against Stats. So very nice.
Yeah, that tank layout, Cats, definitely the depth there going to be very problematic for Nice to try and break with, you know, 5 Stalkers. So does end up backing out after losing one of them, and still has at least a few alive to help deal with any kind of medevac drops and stuff that might come out later on. But for now, it is the High Templars being added on in. He's still not going for Storm or anything. I don't know. Maybe he's just like scarred from when he tried to go for Storm in that first game versus TY. Just did not work out. So he's just going straight into Archons, adding on more Colossus, and he's going to go with this mass charge lot style yet again.
Yeah, HeRoMaRinE has to be very careful. The Stalkers are going to blink on forward, try to catch some medevacs on the retreat. Not going to be able to. There is so many Zealots as per usual for Nice, and HeRoMaRinE has a pretty strong setup here. The rocks are going to be broken down. That's going to open things up for Nice. We'll see if that's enough. So many Marauders as well in this army, and they do not fare well against the Zealots. So a lot of the damage has to come from those tanks. Those Marauders want to get onto the Colossi, and the Marines can also help kind of deal with the Zealots. So we'll see how this pans out.
I like the walling in over there as well from HeRoMaRinE, just because you were saying like this is going to be a more wide open area, so the siege tank's really going to be quite important. Ooh. This Warpin says, no, you don't get to build a missile turret over here, and not for this denying this Warp Prism. At the same time, HeRoMaRinE segments off a lot of his units over toward the main base. He ends up pulling off quite a few of them back because he sees Nice is getting ready to break on through. He storms through the Bioforce. As he storms through the tanks. The bunker is not going to survive. And HeRoMaRinE supply is plummeting.
Yeah, I think Nice has done it. I mean, it's looking very, very good for the Taiwanese champion. This is a huge upset, and the German will tap out.